when something happens to us that is completely out of our control, it is truly our chance to reflect on our choice in the way we react to that. So, my year of 2022 started off amazingly by getting banned on TikTok permanently, apparently. And I was rather surprised at how I wasn't fazed by that. I literally had just taken a nap and I woke up and I opened my phone. I went on TikTok and it showed me the notification. Your account has been permanently banned. And literally, I did not even flinch. I did not even gasp. I did not even blink. It was actually a moment of like acceptance immediately. And I was relatively more intrigued by the way I've been reacting to all of this, because you would think that, well, like, the normal reaction you would have about this is you're freaking out, you're angry, you're upset, you're in complete chaos, because I mean, my account was pretty big. I had a big community of people. I had 125,000 people in the audience, so it was a big account. But I think what contributed to me feeling the sense of peace and having that state of acceptance right away was the fact that I saw it coming. Literally, for a few weeks I was feeling this way. I was having anxiety about the things I would post. I was being extra cautious. But I felt like something was going to come up my ass that way. I felt it. Either somebody was on my ass trying to bring the account down. So I just felt the target on my back. I was aware of this. So when it finally happened, it definitely didn't really take me by surprise. If anything, I was relieved. I was relieved knowing that I was right once again. I was right once again. And so if anything, it sort of took away some pressure that I had. So I was like, all right, here we go. We finally begin here. Because because there is some, okay, so I guess it's the fact that in my whole life I've had so many incidents where I would have anxiety about something, and I would think that, oh no, I am just overthinking this, oh no, I'm just manifesting these bad thoughts into reality, and then I would make it a reason to sort of like blame myself. I would question my own sanity. But if looking at the history of things, actually every time I felt anxiety about something, or if I felt like something was going to happen, it's because it was going to happen, and there was nothing that I could have done to stop that. And I think sometimes we do receive these intuitive signs or anxiety as a way to prevent something from happening. That is the case also, but I feel like for my case, it was more like I knew it was going to happen, and the anxiety was more like me obviously not wanting that to happen, because who the fuck wants to get their account banned at 125,000 followers, right? So there was resistance to that, but I think having that feeling was preparing me for what was about to happen anyway. So when it happened, I was very calm. Like literally, I was like, ugh, this shit again. So it was, and then obviously, I went to my community members and I focused right back. I literally focused right onto the solutions. I didn't really spend too much time talking about how much of a disbelief I'm in, because I wasn't. If anything, I could believe it. I could 100% believe it was happening because I saw it coming. So I found it interesting to note my own reaction to all of this, because it showed me that I'm very calm about a lot of things. And also the calmness also comes from the fact of and the calmness comes from the roots of confidence and self-awareness and trust. Now what I mean by that is the confidence in being validated that I was right with my intuition once again. So it was something that was supposed to happen regardless. Now whether or not it was supposed to happen because I did something wrong or because it was part of the process of something else, that's a different thing, which I'm going to get to also. And knowing that I can create that again. If I worked my number up to 125 in literally less than 6 months, it's going to be very easy for me to get the number again. And this whole year, I might even have a higher spike. Who knows, right? It's really like, I think it's because I never really it was never about numbers for me. So I mean, the point of the whole thing about this that upsets me is the content being gone. Not even I don't even care about the numbers, because it was never about the numbers. I was never the type to like build my whole identity around my image on social media. So my account being gone doesn't really affect my sense of worth. So that is that, right? And the confidence also in that whatever is meant to happen it happens. And if I had to lose something in the process of me getting to the next step, then maybe this had to happen. Maybe I had to kind of disappear for a while from my main account, and maybe this is my chance to kind of divert my attention to creating something else and reassess some other things, or prove to myself I can always create. I'm always going to have enemies, but I can always restart. And so it could also be my opportunity to show myself that I can always start over. Starting over is not a bad thing, and there's no value in putting too much attachment to something just because it's working out in the present moment, because you never know what's going to happen. And this is why I started off this video with the point, when something happens that is completely outside of your control, whether or not you were prepared for that, you can't dwell on that. You can't dwell on the problem itself. Dwell on the problem with the mindset of solving the problem, which is why right now I'm trying to get the account back. I have my community members trying to, help me appeal the case, which I'm very grateful for. So there's not much usage in being upset or being angry for a prolonged period of time. I mean, yes, be angry to use that emotion of passion to fuel, to motivate you in executing the solutions, but there's no use in being angry, because when you're angry, it only eats up at you, because you gotta really think ahead. I think that's why, for me, I'm proud of myself for even having such a calm reaction, because I proved to myself that I'm really not even attached to this. I'm not attached to my social media account. I'm not attached to my following number. It made me actually amplify my gratitude for the community members that I have. And that's what you have to do, guys. Whenever something happens and you feel like you're experiencing a loss, you have to look at it as your opportunity to take a step back and reevaluate everything that's been going on in your life, and then reevaluate the way you've been approaching this, and reevaluate your relationships. And because sometimes when we're so caught up in something, it's very easy for us to become illusioned with our circumstances and think that something is actually something of value to us. Okay, there's a huge difference between something that looks like gold versus something that's truly gold. Okay, and sometimes on social media platforms, and I'm using social media as an example, but this is just life in general. Sometimes when you're too close to something, when you're so caught up in all these things, you don't really know what is real and what is not. And sometimes these moments of losses and destruction and unpredictable stuff has to happen in order for you to take a step back and reassess what was real or not. Right, this is why detachment is such a beautiful concept here. Detachment doesn't mean that you don't give a crap. Obviously, you give a crap, especially if it's something that you put a lot of time into, like the way that I put a lot of time and energy into making content and making videos. Obviously, it is upsetting. Okay, I'm not a psychopath. I feel things. It is upsetting. I want my content back, and whatever, but it's also knowing that what's meant for you is what's meant to happen, and what's meant to happen is going to happen regardless of what you do. Okay, and what's truly meant for you is not going to be lost. You can't lose what's truly meant for you, and sometimes you may lose it for a little bit, and you might have to do things to get it back, and you see this is where the execution comes in, and that's why I am trying my best. I'm doing everything in my power to get my account back, but at the same time, not overly attaching myself to the outcome, because when you're attached to the outcome, you're also negating the fact, you're disregarding the possibility that it probably was for a reason, and the reason being that your attention needed to be diverted away from this and do something else as a result of this falling apart. Does that make sense? And that thing that you create as a result of this thing falling apart is the very thing that is going to actually elevate you to the next level. So now, you see how all of this is like coming together? This is why for me, I'm very confident regardless of what happens. I mean, whether or not I get my account back, I would be okay with it. Ideally, I would want it back. I wouldn't be surprised if I get it back, but also I would be okay if I'm not. And this is a state of detachment that I'm talking about here that I feel like will help you guys, using myself as an example. It's deeply rooted in confidence that, you know, you can't change what's meant to happen, but also whatever is meant for you, you're gonna get it. You're not gonna lose it fully. You're always gonna get it back, it's literally life, the law of the universe. You cannot lose what's meant for you. If you lose it, either its season is done, it's served its purpose, or that itself is the push for you to go somewhere else. So, and that somewhere else is going to bring you something bigger, because guess what? When you make space for something else to enter into your life, something better is going to come to your place. But you have to first believe that. You cannot operate from a place of scarcity and place of disbelief. You have to trust that every time you lose something, you're making space for something greater to enter into that space. So I wanted to talk about this, sort of debrief my thought process in all of this, because I like how everything came into full circle for me, because I told you I knew this was going to happen, and now that it happened, it allowed me to sort of observe myself. I like the way I'm reacting. I'm very calm, and it actually really made me grateful, truly grateful for the people that I have formed relationships with because of my page, and it inspires me to do more for these people. Why? Because you can always be out there doing a lot of things, but those real relationships, those real connections are very rare, you know. And I'm sure even the people that were following me, 125,000, not everyone was truly like that. I already know, like 95% of the people, that they didn't really give a fuck about me, right? And for me, as someone who values true, authentic connections and relationships, I truly value the people that I have with the community. So this whole experience, and they're all helping me get my account back. So I'm truly just grateful for all this experience, because it's allowing me to take a step back and observe what's happening, which is only amplifying the gratitude. So it's working out for me either way. So detachment, this is the beauty of it.